Hello everyone, welcome to Motor Ahead. India is getting future ready in terms of sustainability and alternative fuel energies. I know we're a little behind than other countries in the world, but I'm pretty sure that we're going to catch up in no time. Talking about the same topics, I have a very special guest on our show today who's an ex-Hero, Yamaha, Indian Motorcycles, Polaris, and now the co-founder and director of Power Global America and CEO and co-founder of Power Global India. I'd like to welcome Mr. Pankaj Dubey on our show. Hello sir, welcome to our show Motor Ahead. So nice to have you here. Sir, I know our country is falling a little short when it comes to future of mobility and sustainability, and the infrastructure also does not support the demands of the consumers today. So what are your thoughts on it? Do you think we'll be able to cope up in no time, or is it going to take us some time?
I think time has come now, Sonia, and I believe very firmly that in the next 1 or 2 years would be a big game changer for the EV industry in the country. The primary reasons why we lagged behind was the lack of technology, importing inferior products to the country and offering it to the end users, and the end user not being very happy and comfortable about it. But I see that there are a lot of good players who are coming into the game now, including my company, Power Global, and hopefully we will provide solutions which are needed and which are very much required for the country like ours, and that would make a big difference. And at the same time, the government is very supportive today. They really want this change to happen, and they are initiating various steps across the country. Customers who have been sitting on the edge are now really looking forward to some solutions which is practical, and I think you are going to see this happening in the next 2 years. And everybody is talking about that EV will come and someday, but very few people own it. Right. But I can share that the next 5 years, you and I will also have an electric car.
Yeah, I'm sure. I want it right away. The only thing that is keeping me away from electric is that I don't know if I can charge my vehicle in the next 100 kilometers. Will I find a charging station? Do I have that infrastructure? But looking at the petrol prices, I think I will, even though if it doesn't charge more than 200 kilometers. So, sir, I believe we're manufacturing batteries for two-wheelers and three-wheelers. So you said that Indian customers are not happy with the products that we are importing. So do you think that the batteries that we're manufacturing in India are going to be a boom for the...
Absolutely. We have understood why the EV market, which have been there in existence in India for over a decade, right, but it has not succeeded, is because of these poor quality products that we are, poor quality products that we are importing. So at Power Global, we starting with the two-wheeler, three-wheeler battery manufacturing, but our game is to go much beyond that, to right from a four-wheeler to aerospace and all those technologies where we can feed those industries. And the core product in the EV is the battery. Right. Because for a ICE vehicle, it is the engine. Here it is the battery. If the battery is good and it is long-lasting, it will make a huge impact on the success of this EV market. So that's where we are coming in, and I'm sure the product that we have designed is not just about the charging, like you're worried about that what will happen of the range, right, if I get exhausted. But in petrol, long back there were not enough infrastructure, but it got built up in the last few decades, and now we find petrol everywhere, diesel everywhere. Similarly, for the energy charging, people are talking about setting up energy chargers, and we are parallelly looking at another level of work, which is on a swappable battery. Right. So we are working on a swappable battery where you don't even have to wait for very long at the charging station to charge your vehicle, but you go and swap, which is even faster than what you do with the petrol, refilling your petrol and diesel. So these are the technologies that are coming in which will make the big difference.
Right, sir. So, and how much electricity do you think is going to be consumed? Because that is going to be another issue for our customers, right? That the increasing price of petrol, there's going to be an increasing demand and increased price of electricity as well, if we make it the main source of energy for our automobiles.
Absolutely, you are right. And that's why you see a lot of focus of the government of India on alternate energy.
Right.
And even in our case, the solutions that we are going to provide would be an integration of grid charging as well as solar charging. So we are planning to set up the infrastructure, even the solution that we have, or retrofitting, would have an option of solar panels. So you can charge your vehicle through the solar panel as well as through the grid. So too much dependence on the grid would actually have a challenge, as you rightly said. But we have heard all the ministers talking about it, the Government of India ministers talking about it, that a high percentage of this energy would come through alternate fuels, and that is what I think is the game forward has to be.
Right, I totally believe that. Yes, alternate fuel is the future and we are moving towards future of mobility. Sir, I genuinely believe that, there have been so many electric launches, and the only question that we get from the customers, and they're not ready to invest, is that they're not sure. I know people usually want to follow the crowd and they do not want to be the leader, but I guess you can tell our youth, like give them some sort of a gyan that what could they, what should they invest their time and money on, and why?
See, primarily, this is a time when the technology is changing very rapidly. It is happening internationally. You can see the increase in sales of electric vehicles as opposed to the ICE vehicles. Internationally, it is changing, and so it's going to happen in India also. And it is already happening in some of the segments, like a three-wheelers and two-wheelers. You already see that there's a lot of buzz and changes happening. But what will do great to this area is the new technologies that are coming in, more practical technologies that came in. I just spoke to you about the swappable technology, where you don't have to wait at the station for a long time. You can just swap and move ahead like you do for any of the IC engine. So these are coming, and I think for the youth of the country, what is very important is to realize that this is the appropriate time. This is the time when you have to invest your time, money and energy, because this is practically been proven in the rest of the world. And now it is going to happen in India as well, and in all the similar economies. It's going to happen. It's just that we are slightly delayed. We are behind. But you already see that happening in the rest part of the world, so it's going to happen. Now, and that is what, when you have to say that you have to be very innovative, you have to be visionary. One is that you make something which is absolutely in no part of the world exists. And the second is that you do something which is really being a buzz in the rest of the world, and it's not come to your country. And this is exactly where space that we are in, that it is now making waves across. And in India, people are talking about it, but they are not actually using it in mass. But this is going to happen. There is no way that it can be stopped. And it's the next 5 years, I see a sea change. Most of the customers, including youth, you all, would be sitting on an electric vehicle. That is what my projection is.
You heard it, it is going to happen. So this is the time. Invest your time, energy, money, everything in alternative fuels and sustainability. That is the only future of automobiles across the globe. Thank you for watching our show. This was me, Sonia Jain, and Mr. Pankaj Dubey. Thank you for joining us on the show, sir. It's my pleasure to have you here.
It was a pleasure to be on your show.
Thank you.